The pitch. And hit him! Ball game! Playoffs again! And Cleveland, for the 8th time in the last 13 years, you will have another October to remember.
This is the main event on Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Double A, Eli Moon. I'm Rob Rozycki. We have something else to play too. That was so 24 hours ago. Give us what happened today.
Holy crap.
Holy crap is right.
With everything you guys have been through, you should get to party twice. Again, you get punched in the face, and every time we punch right back, we get up and we fight. Division freaking champs, boys, and we ain't done. Let's freaking...
I mean, if we wanted to play that for the next 45 minutes and call it a day, I'd be happy. Again, this is the main event on all. I was going to say, man, this is so bad memory. Let's go with the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I'm Rob Rozycki. We got Eli Moon right here. We got Double A Anthony Alford sitting next to him. And I am just in a state of euphoria personally. The Guardians, we talked about it last week. They had a shot to make history. Well, they capitalized on that shot. They defeated the Texas Rangers today, 9-8 in a walk-off win. Brian Rocchio, 3-run home run to close it out in the 10th inning. You saw the celebration there. A wild card berth, became division champions as fast as he swung that bat, and that ball sailed and cracked the foul pole at Progressive Field. We are playoff bound. 15.5 back. Fuck you. We are in. Double A Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. I am absolutely just apoplectic right now.
Well, and I'll jump in here because, Rob, you were working yesterday and went today as a fan with Nick.
Yeah.
I was there yesterday as a fan, and just to, first off, the buzz in the building yesterday. It almost felt like the story of the season kind of played out in one game yesterday. Yeah. And I would even say even today too, but it's just like, man.
Oh, it definitely happened today.
The offense, I'm like, dude, come on. You know, this offense, like, what are we doing? But the pitching keeps you in it. And the most unlikely way to make the playoffs, a hit by pitch.
Yeah.
Rob, are you kidding me? That was goes.
Absolutely difficult to process because it's, like every baseball play we've ever seen, fly ball, you got a couple of seconds, ground ball, things are going to move around. It was thunk, Guardians are in the playoffs. That was as quick as it was. We just had to make sure C.J. Kapis touched first base and Petey Halpern, the rookie center fielder child. And I think we can call him Petey until he looks like he's at least 17 or 18 years old. But he scored the winning run. A couple of rookies right in the middle of it. Again, a microcosm of this season. And again, just the fact that they've had to claw back. They were down yesterday. They were down today. They had to come back and play another inning on top of 162 games. Then you got the final 3 outs after that. And it's just somehow they keep on coming. And we went through the numbers over and over again. 15.5 games out. The only team that was in the ballpark of that kind of deficit and making it to the playoffs was the 1914 Boston Braves. Their manager was born 2 years after the Civil War ended. That's how long we're talking ago. The Great War was a thing. Doughboys were going off to fight in Europe when this happened the last time. This is truly unprecedented. It's never happened before. And now we're on borrowed time. Now it is up to the Guardians, the guys on the field. Guess what? You're not going to be facing 4th and 5th starters. You're going to be facing frontline guys at good teams. And let's see what happens. We're not supposed to be here. So let's just use the house money and see how far we can go.
And real quick, Eli, to bring up the stat of the closest thing out here. Teams to make the postseason. Oh, by the way, 2.9% shot of making the playoffs entering September. So
they were 0.0 to win the division on Fangraphs in the middle of July. I mean, we were the baseball equivalent of being wheeled in the morgue.
So,
We came back from the dead.
how about this? Teams to make the postseason after having a 10-plus game losing streak that year. 2017 Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay, they bought their way out of that.
Yeah, 1982, exactly. 1982 Atlanta Braves. 1951 New York Baseball Giants.
Okay, so we're talking Willie Mays and all those McCovey and all those guys. Okay,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's it. Only 4 teams.
Well, and the other thing, and also we need to hit the other crappy. We need to hit the low lights of this whole thing and the things that we can revel in. Houston Astros not in the playoffs. Good luck with that, guys.
Where's my trash can?
9 years.
Bring me my trash can. Bring it to me. No. We're gonna do this right. Bring the trash can. You freaking cheaters. Bang on this. Bang on this. Go home.
They are not in the playoffs. The other team not in the playoffs with their $340 million payroll, their $70 million outfielder who really can't play the outfield, Juan Soto and the New York Mets are not in the playoffs too. Handed up to the Cincinnati Reds. Both teams, Cincinnati was in a situation, if they were to win, they were automatically going to clinch, but they didn't need to do that, much like the Guardians today where they needed Detroit to lose. That's exactly what happened in New York. So, those guys are going home. And one more stat for you before we let Moon, which I'm sure elated as both of us, get into this one. The Detroit Tigers, winning percentage-wise, had the worst month of September of any playoff team since the inception of the World Series in 1903.
Unbelievable.
So that's who we got coming up here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, possibly Thursday, depending on what happens. That's the team that you need a CDL trucking license to back that thing into the playoffs. That's the team that we're going to be facing. So,
and just to think too, Cleveland had a series at the beginning of the month against Houston. Who knew that series actually would mean so much as far as tiebreakers? And again, people say like, sports, you don't have to depend on luck. You need luck in a little bit of ways. Oh, sorry.
Are you going to make me the bad guy? Rob?
Yeah.
Are you going to make me the bad guy?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, did Superman make Lex Luthor the bad guy, or was Lex Luthor just born that way? That's probably a different show.
Talk about my physique a different day. Let's talk about the Guardians.
Okay.
First off, can we just all... Yeah, everybody, come on, Rob. Come on.
This is the most condescending golf clap.
Come on, yeah.
I got neighbors, so we're going to reserve the loud noises for the later rounds.
So here's the thing.
Yes.
Who won the World Series MVP? Who got the World Series? Who's holding it right now? Oh, we didn't get there yet. So again,
no.
Reverse back to when I talked about this before with us last week. Till we win a World Series, I don't care. It's a very nice story. I feel the energy in Cleveland. I love it. I like seeing Cleveland win. But this is the same thing we do every year. We make miraculous comebacks, and we just do it until we don't. So until we win it, I don't care. It's cool. It's cool. Exciting. Rob, you look great in all your Guardians gear, and I know you probably had a ball. You had a ball. And I love the Guardians. Pops, I know you're watching at home, and I know you love them. But why do we celebrate coming this close and act like they are the top when we have a team that has won a championship here? But we continue to be like the Guardians. They are the best team in Cleveland, yet we haven't won one since 1948. So when we win one, we can talk about it. But I will stand on what I said last week. If we get bounced round one, failure. Failure of the season.
No.
Failure. You didn't bring in your top shortstop infielder last year with the Jimenez. You let Naylor walk, and you got in by the skin of your teeth. And it's a nice feel-good story. But if the clock strikes...
Kyle Manzardo's hit 27 home runs this year and has hit about 250. I mean, okay, he's a little bit lower on the average side than Josh Naylor, but it is what it is. Brian Rocchio, who knew that he was going to be the solution at second base once they put him over there to deal with Arias at shortstop? Bro, go back and watch some of the highlights. We got a Gold Glove second baseman. So I'm not too worried about either one of those two guys and losing them. And besides, We'll see how much Josh Naylor is going to get paid coming up in this offseason and if we could afford that or not. But to your whole thing about winning a World Series or talk to me when we win this thing, that's not the point. The point is the journey. The point is the highs and the lows. Double-A going crazy at yesterday in the bleachers. Me yesterday or today going crazy in the bleachers. Watching the highs, watching the lows, do these 10-game losing streaks. Okay, this is where this team was at. We had a stretch, 10 in a row. We were done. Last rites to the team. Goodbye. And then they ended up coming back in July and roaring back. Then they lost 9 out of 10. And then they come roaring back again. And we'll see how far this energy takes us. And I am not content with what we have at all right now. I do want to win the World Series. I do want to go all the way. I am not just happy being here, but I am happy we're here.
Rob, are we watching a Hallmark movie or the MLB?
We're watching Major League. Did you just see what happened? The only thing we needed was a picture of Larry Dolan that we yanked a little section off every time they won a game in some sort of scantily clad outfit. That was the only thing. Like, okay, Jose Ramirez, much better than Roger Dorn. I'll give the team that. But this is basically Major League.
Rob, but here's the thing, though, and I'm going to call a spade, my friend. Any other team in the city, any other of your Pittsburgh Steelers, which we'll talk about later on, I'm sure, at the end of the day, we took a look at any of these teams, and they go and they have a magical journey to getting their ass whooped in the second round. You aren't talking about the journey, Rob. We've seen it. So why are we giving the Guardians, because they play a long season, we're giving them a journey? Well, guess what? The journey ends.
Yeah.
The journey is here. The fun's over. The BS is over. Everybody's 0-0. So if you don't win, I don't care. And it'll make
but that's what the exciting part is that we have been waiting for this party for 11 months. We have been seeing this date on the calendar, and we have been praying that we were going to get an invite to it. And guess what? We got our invite punched yesterday. We got our VIP invite punched today. We are going in, and finally we're at the freaking party. Rob, why not be happy about it? Why not be excited about it? Why not be thrilled to be here?
Because I've been waiting 28 years. I was born 3 months before we lost the World Series in #97. I was downtown with Double-A watching us lose in 2016. I've watched us get close last year, and I'm just sick of the rah-rah. We're so close. We're just America's sweetheart, aren't we? I want to be a tank. I'm sick of being America's sweetheart. I want to win.
I want to win too. And going through all this crap is going to make the victory dance so much sweeter when it finally happens. Will it be this year? We don't know. It could be. I mean, this team we saw in July, if they start scoring runs, they went through July pretty much 5.5 runs a game. They went through about 4-week clip that way. If we can find that team and that offense, this team ends in the World Series. It's not hard. It goes to the World Series.
A lot of ifs.
If the offense kicks in.
And again,
we have a world-class pitching staff today, right now.
This pitching staff is pretty solid for the most part. But here's the thing.
I'm not hating on it. No. I love the Guardians.
No.
Let's be real.
I'm gonna say this though. This is such a unique man. This is tough though, because I don't think anybody's wrong here. I think you can be very, 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 very happy about what the Guardians have done since you canceled your Guardians TV subscription. You can be very happy about what they have done, but there is a day where you're going to say, did they do enough to put a product out there that is capable of competing for a championship? It's a angel and a devil. That's this Guardians right now.
And
I think the team has made
Guardians, by the way, angel and devil. Are we allowed to say that, Rob? Angel and devil Guardians?
I think so. I mean, what are the? I don't know who's going to come at us for. I mean, who knows at this point in time? But I think we're okay.
Rozycki, here's my other question to you, my friend, because I've missed you so much over this weekend, and I know you've had such a ball. Here's my other question to you, right? Okay, so the Guardians, right? I'm going to ask you. It's like reverse, like replay of last week. Guardians going to this series, right? Round 1, and they get swept. Is this a successful season? I know you're having a nice beverage, so I'll go to my buddy Double A first. Double A,
No,
is
we're
this a
fine.
successful season?
Oh, if they get swept by Detroit this week? No.
Thank you.
I'm extremely happy about everything that's gone on, but at the end of the day, especially with how the series is set up, Detroit will have the last word if they win this series. Whoever wins this wild card series has the last word on the division.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, that will be the story when we do the show next Sunday. I mean, so I will never the memories of what happened Saturday because I was in the ballpark, what happened this weekend, what happened this month. That's not going away. Just like go back to 2017 with the 22-game win streak.
Yeah.
That doesn't go away. That's a major accomplishment. But you can't get dog walked by Detroit.
Right.
You cannot. Detroit, F them. You gotta put them in a body bag one more time. It has to happen.
All 3 games are going to be in our house, potentially all 3, at least the first 2. And the whole question that we're going to have to, the mountain we're going to have to climb on Tuesday, both starters were scratched for the Guardians and the Tigers today, respectively, because they had clinched. So it will be Tarek Skubal against Gavin Williams. And Tarek Skubal will win his second Cy Young Award in a few weeks. That hasn't happened in the American League in a few decades, I think since Pedro. So we're talking about an all-time dominant pitcher who we have beaten a couple of times now in the last couple of weeks. So it is doable. But to your question, Eli, I think it's a 2-pronged question. And it goes back to what I said, with you guys pretty much all throughout our friendships and broadcasting tenures here together. It's very frustrating to be a Guardians fan in the offseason, but it's amazing in the regular season. And is this a success for the roster, for the players, for Stephen Vogt? Absolutely, it has been. Because if you look at the numbers, it's Jose Ramirez and a bunch of dudes. I don't know if you guys know WAR Plus, or I think it's OPS Plus, and the league average is 100. If you're 100, you're a league average player. Kyle Manzardo and Jose Ramirez above 100. Everybody else, including Stephen Kwan, is under league average. So is it a success for the players, for the manager, for the on-field team? Absolutely. Is it a failure, though, for the front office? I don't even want to call it a failure, because to fail at something, you'd have to try. And this Guardians offseason, they really didn't make an attempt. And if we do get knocked out in a couple of games, even if they get knocked out in the second round of the playoffs, which is the same exit they had last year, you're going to have a fan base now more than ever, especially with 2026 looming and the whole labor thing, saying we need to get offense in here. We were in the ALCS twice, or second round once, ALCS once, in the last 2 years with literally no offense. And you're going to have a fan base legitimately begging for at least sign somebody to a 1-year contract. The whole thing's going to blow up anyway. There's going to be a new labor structure anyway. Sign somebody for a year. Get somebody in here offensively that isn't Austin Hedges, all due respect to Hedgehog, and hopefully he's going to have a few more big at-bats. And all due respect to Carlos Santana. You're going to have to get some offense in here. But for the players on the field, this was an unmitigated success. It's the third youngest roster in baseball.
Let me double, if you don't mind, double. I'm going to ask one
more
here.
Go ahead.
Because I've been thinking about this one for a full week. If Terry Francona, Tito, if he was running this team, managing this team, and this was the effort they put in all year, after the year they had last year, I don't know if it's a question. I just think it's a statement. I don't think we'd be reacting like this. We'd be like, did Tito lose the clubhouse? Is this team ready to win in October? But we're celebrating something that would be, in the last regime, be frowned upon as a disappointing regular season. We got them by the skin of our teeth, guys. I know it's a miraculous comeback, but we might have just breathed all the last fresh air we have in the regular season and might fall flat on our face.
Hold up. Let me jump in real quick before you go, Rob. I think part of that, too, is kind of what Rob kind of set up. If the benchmark is the ALCS, Would you say that's the benchmark at least?
At least. You have to get back where you were.
The ALCS. If that's the benchmark, I think there is more distrust among fans like Eli, who Eli's not the only one, who don't believe that if they can't move forward, that they will make the necessary upgrades to the offensive roster. That they will do that.
It's weird because I think the Cavaliers and the Guardians are kind of reversed. Where with the Cavaliers, you have the most faith in the organization and ownership that they're going to do everything they can do, spend what they need to spend to get people in here. If it means going over the luxury tax, second apron, whatever. But you don't have confidence in the players because we've seen what happened on the court. We've seen them buckle under pressure. We've seen them, again, if you want to go on that whole thing, leaving the same time now back-to-back years, that is a failure. The Guardians are opposite. We don't have a lot of faith as fans and as people who cover the team that we're going to drop a lot of money, that we're going to do what needs to be. I'm not saying the Dodgers, I'm not saying the Mets, saying maybe midway. I'm saying $200 million payroll, $150 million payroll. There's not a lot of faith that that'll happen, but there is tremendous faith. Once that first pitch kicks off, gets thrown down the pipes here, and we got 9-on-9 and our manager against their manager, we have all the faith in those 26 bastards that any fan base can have. So it's kind of opposite where, like, if we could put the Guardians' scrappiness with the Cavaliers' front office acumen, I think we would have a team that would win a championship literally every year.
The one good thing about this round is that you do have confidence going into Detroit. Like Detroit historically the worst. The fact that they are even in these playoffs after what they have done is just unbelievable. Yeah. So there is confidence there that head-to-head, you're good. Now Seattle, who I think the winner of this series would face in the division series.
Yeah, get your Starbucks.
A little bit of a different story. They got Big Cal, who I think
Big Dumper.
I think Big Dumper is gonna win some awards. But
60 dingers for the Dumper.
60, crazy. He was that close to catching Aaron Judge. That's crazy.
How can you root against him?
I know.
Right. Well, we might have.
But with that being said, you're in a great position going in. The key's going to be, you've done it already. Got to take game one. The crazy thing with this wild card format, guys, since this really started, I think in 2020 it started because of COVID, but in this format, I think it started a year after or 2 years after.
Yeah.
All but like one or two series have been sweeps.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's how important game one really is.
Well, and that's why the Tigers scratched Skubal and saved him for to Tuesday. That's why we did the same thing with Gavin Williams. It's tantamount that the Guardians, well, especially the Tigers have to win game one to have a chance because all three are in Cleveland. Cleveland's chances wouldn't be great if they lost game one, but they would at least have that whole idea home cooking for a couple of days. Maybe we can get our brand of chaos happening on the field. But yeah, that's why game one is going to be very, very important. Yeah, if you look at all four of these series, I wouldn't be surprised, and I couldn't tell you which ones are going to be, but probably 3 out of 4 will end in sweeps because that's how baseball is rolling. We'll see what happens with both these guys. Really, your top 2 starters. That's going to be how good you are.
I got to say one more thing. Not to interrupt you, my friend, but I got to say something. I feel like I'm becoming AA from like 10 years ago when we started doing this show, where I'm just
about the age he was. Yeah. What's up?
Don't get these grays. I'm telling you.
I'm just mad because it's like I can understand where AA was when I was 18, 19 doing main event back on random, other stations. And I remember
All Sports Cleveland, you can say it.
Okay.
and Rob almost says it every week. You can say it.
But it's like,
big.
Yeah. But my thing is this. It's like I understand where you're coming from now as a 28-year-old. Because being 18, you think, well, they'll get it together. And you see, I got the treat. I was 18 when the Guardians went to the 2016 World Series. So I was just beginning my adult life. So I'm like, dude, is this what we're about to experience my whole adult life? And we haven't seen it. So now I'm 28, 10 years removed. We've been to the World Series in 2016. We've been on the cusp. And every offseason, I watch these guys not add. They get in because they do have great coaching and great prospect. They just raising their prospects, getting them through the farm. They're really good. But I don't think it makes me a pessimist. I don't think it makes me a bad guy.
No.
I don't think any of that because how I feel. I think, honestly, you poll 99, 100, 28-year-olds in Cleveland, Ohio right now. They're all feeling the same way I am. I promise you. Because here's the thing. If there was something else going on, because obviously you guys know I make music. If there was something else going on in the city, big with music, during game 1 of the hypothetical World Series of the Guardians, you know where I'm at. Because actually, I don't believe in them.
Actually, I don't know where you would be. Game 1 of the World Series?
No, I'd be at the concert.
You would be at the concert of the Game 1 of the World Series?
1,000%. Because
I don't believe that.
No, 1,000%.
Game 1 of the I mean that is I mean at this rate, then as a self-respecting Guardians fan, if the only game that you want to show up to is a World Series clinching game at home, then I'm sure that seat can probably be better used by somebody who gives a shit.
Well, guess what, Rozycki? I've been in that seat plenty of times over the years. You know what it's got me? In the same spot we're talking about now. The last World Series.
I get you. My first experience with this team was a little bit. I was a little older than you at the time. I had moved here. I was coming back from college or whatever, and it was 07 the Bug game. And that whole run. And when they finally got kaput by the Red Sox, up 3-1, and everybody's happy, joy. I remember being that bright, optimistic dude going, "Hey, we got this shit in the bag. We're fine. All is well." Being hit several times, and we didn't win a game after that. So I do understand the trepidation, the nervousness, the everything associated with that. But at that rate, you just got to be, and again, I can't tell you how to spend your sports dollars or your dollars at all. But I enjoy the ups and downs. I enjoy the 162 chapter story that is a Major League Baseball season. And especially in one like this, where you can almost, the last 2 or 3 weeks go game by game by game and just something amazing happened. Like I was at the stadium. I was working at my other job on Tuesday night in the 6th inning where Tarek Skubal does the football play and throws the ball between his legs. That was a 3-run 6th inning where the farthest the ball got out of the infield was that play that Skubal chucked it over his first baseman's head. We didn't get, really anything more than an infield single and a couple of wild pitches. So, it's the ups and downs. It's that's what I enjoy. I mean, it's a good TV show. So, I mean, it's 162 episodes every year, and it's always compelling.
We got to do real quick, Eli. I'll let you finish here. We got to do it. We're not going to have time tonight. It actually needs to be like almost a full episode. The psychology of sports fan and expectation, and like what's more important, the journey or the championship.
Yeah,
like that. That within itself, and like what events made you change your mind about how you think as a sports fan?
Well, and quickly too, for me, like part of the journey is that mode of wanting a championship. It's, like when we start on Tuesday, guess what, Eli, you just said everybody's 0-0. We got to start up again and we got to win this motherfucker. And we're here on borrowed time. We shouldn't be here. We are literally coming back from the dead. So that is you want to use another sports analogy? That's a football team walking in at halftime saying, "Hey, we're 7 points down at half. We've played our worst half of the season, and we're only 7 points down." Like that's, dude, we dealt with suspensions. Our closer is in exile in the Dominican Republic right now, unable to show his face in a Major League Baseball stadium. We've had, the 10-game losing streaks. We've had the injuries. We had our DH get hit in the face with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball this week, and we're still here. So, yes, now I am turning into that, hey, that journey was great, and now we're in October, or about to be in October, and it is time to finally put this curse to bed. I think if any team can do it, it is the team that has gone through hell and back already. So, who knows?
Real quick, before I know we got a break. Speaking of time, this game starts at 1:00 on a work day.
Yeah.
That's not your work day.
That's BS. Like,
It is.
for Major League Baseball, like, I don't understand. I understand, like, all the, national TV, they want, national TV windows and stuff like it. So the games are overlapping anyway. Well, all those games should be out in prime time.
I agree with
if
that.
you're talking, like, this is not March Madness. If
baseball,
you're talking,
baseball is the only pro sport that does playoff games on weekdays, afternoons. Like, you don't see the NFL, you don't see basketball. Like, the basketball, you'll do the big triple quad headers on Saturday or Sunday. But, you don't see game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals played at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I am not
right on that one. I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to bitch about that big time.
Right.
If the Nuggets get knocked out early.
I am not anti-daytime playoff baseball. I am daytime playoff baseball when people are working, when the games could happen at night and more people can watch. And then that dumb commissioner wants to sit around and act like, oh, how come more people are not watching our sport? Well, people are watching your sport when they can.
I mean,
people are working. They can't.
Hey, and also too,
take time off to watch this game.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, too. I'm not sitting in my program director's office at my radio station, but I would bet that he would much rather those games be at 6, 7, 8 o'clock too, because anybody who is invested in trying to make money and make a living off of broadcasting these games does not want it at 1 o'clock. I'll guarantee you that.
Here's my final point, and double so the words I'm not awesome. I think I'll let my guy talk for me. He's like my Paul Heyman, because you know what? They are in at 1 o'clock. You know why? Because that's what MLB thinks of them. Until they do better and play better, that's what they're going to get.
Oh,
Cards. I want them to do it. Please prove me wrong so we can play this back in a month or so, and I can just get just destroyed on this freaking show.
You really missed game 1 of the World Series?
If you told me Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, anybody, any of my bros were over in Rocket Mortgage Arena, Rocket Fieldhouse, whatever it's called nowadays, and game 1, I'm at the concert, bro. I love sports, guys, but I'm a music man too, and at the end of the day, I know, like Rob said, they're a TV show, and I've seen this ending every year.
You never know. Honestly, you can show up to a baseball game and see something you've never seen before and you'll never see again. And that's part of the charm with it. And the Double A's point, do you know what the other wild card series is? The reason why we are at 1 o'clock and the other one is in prime time?
I know why. Go ahead.
You really think we're going to put Aaron Judge at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Come on, people. It's just,
Well, Aaron Judge won the World Series in the last 5 years. So we're going to put him there.
Hey.
Wait, Aaron Judge? What? Did he win a World Series in the last?
Not the World Series, but ALCS multiple times.
Well, he was in the World Series.
Yeah, he did make the World Series. Yeah, what do you make?
The
Dodgers
didn't win it.
Dodgers.
You're making me question myself. Yeah, you think I'm because I'm a music man? I don't remember.
That New York, that Yankee team hasn't won it in a pretty long time for their standards. So we will. We could probably keep on smacking each other around with baseball talk for the next 2 hours, but unfortunately, we do have to keep to some sort of schedule. Up next, if you thought this segment was too me heavy, we will get the two gentlemen over here ready to go, because unlike me, they actually watch some football and have any idea what the hell happened in the NFL. I think the Steelers won and someone's yelling about Geno Smith. That's really all I got. These guys will fill me and you in. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. I'm Rob Rozycki, and we will be back momentarily.
Yeah, that shit got me hot, bro. I make that damn play, bro. It's a big time play. I gotta catch them shits, bro. I catch them shits every day in practice. I make that play, bro. That shit frustrating. Yeah, bro, it would have been, 17-20 after that? That would have been a big play, touchdown, 17-20. Dropped that, punt the ball. They took a punt return back, man. Man, as a receiver on this team, bro, as a wide receiver, I can make those fucking plays, man. Shit, bro. Any ball that come my way, bro, I expect to make that play. Man, when I don't make that play, that shit frustrating. I don't like that. Simple as that, bro. I don't give a damn where. If it's coming my way, I gotta make that play. Simple as that. Man, defense been doing their thing all season, man. I'm tired of leaving on defense. It's time for us to make some damn plays on it.
Jerry, how much faith do you have in Joe still?
Man, we got a lot of faith, man. We gotta catch the ball. We gotta make plays, man. Simple as that. We gotta score points, sustain drives, man, and make plays. Man. Simple as that, bro. Ain't nothing they did, man. It was all on us, man. Simple.
Okay, this is the main event. We're back here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Eli Moon, Anthony Alford. I'm Rob Rozycki, and that was Jeudy, I believe, giving a very honest assessment of the Cleveland Browns, who lost today to the Detroit Lions 34-10. I don't really know much about what happened throughout this whole thing. I understand Jeudy's getting his fair amount of bullshit thrown his way. The special teams are getting bullshit thrown their way. Bubba Ventrone, I think, might be on LinkedIn by the end of the week. But, yeah. So how about we let Eli Moon, AA Anthony Alford, educate my dumbass, my baseball-centric mind here on what the hell happened to the Browns and what the hell happened in the NFL.
Eli, go ahead and mention the stats first.
I'm going to play Guess That Receiver. AA, today against a team in the NFL, this receiver had 3 catches for 48 yards, 1 long pass of 33 yards, averaging 7.5 yards per catch after that. Who is that receiver? Don't worry. If you said Jeudy, you're absolutely correct. He went 3 of 9 for 48 yards, no touchdown. That seems to be the trend nowadays.
Oh, yeah, no touchdowns all season.
Yeah, and 6 missed passes or catches, receptions from Jeudy, 48 yards, like I said, a 33-yard long pass to make up most of his yardage. So if you just look at the box score and don't see that little long of 33, you think, okay, we made some plays with those 3 catches. No, they played with one of them. And as you see, he's disappointed. And honestly, that's how every Cleveland Browns fan feels about Jeudy. But I know AA, he has probably been one of the biggest Jeudy supporters ever. What do you have to say about our number 1 receiver?
I'm going to play the first 10 seconds of this cut one more time. Take a listen.
Yeah, that shit got me hot, bro. I make that damn play, bro. It's a big time play. I gotta catch them shits, bro. I catch them shits every day in practice. I make that play, bro. That shit frustrating. Yeah, bro, that was.
You know who's frustrating to us? Us. You make it every day in practice. Every day in practice. But in the games, no touchdowns. I don't see anything over 66 yards of receiving yards.
Yeah,
that was the first game
against the worst defense in the league.
But I do. There is a level of consistency that I do see. There, I have to stand by. There is some consistency, and that's drops. I don't even need the stats. My eyes see drops in major situations every single game. And, I just think about a lot of the top receivers, a lot of number 1 receivers across the National Football League. You could trust, like St. Brown, you could trust him. I mean, you could trust him. You could trust a lot of these other guys. But Jeudy.
Well, number 1 receivers don't make drops.
Say that again.
Number 1 receivers don't drop. Number 1 receivers don't make drops. Go and look at Larry Fitzgerald's numbers. I think he had more tackles in his career than he had drops. Yeah. Jerry Rice didn't drop the ball. You even look at the modern guys. They don't drop the ball. And to be considered a number 1 receiver, to be considered a primary target, you got to be able to catch the damn ball, right?
Yeah. So I look at, because it's the Cleveland Browns, so you have an opportunity to play with multiple quarterbacks here. Out of the out of the 4 or 5 quarterbacks that Jerry Jeudy has played here, he's only been successful with Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston was throwing deep bombs to Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jeudy, he could have the speed, but the other issue with Jeudy and with a lot of these receivers, I know Isaiah Bond had a great game overall, but a lot of these receivers, they can't separate from the defenders. That's why, like Joe Flacco, who has limitations himself, he can't get, none of these receivers can get open.
Yeah.
Their inability to run good routes, their inability to break away from the defenders, and then with Jerry Jeudy in particular, the inability as a professional NFL wide receiver to catch the football.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I think a big stat that stands out to me too is, I was looking before the show and just adding some quick calculations. And Jerry Jeudy has 13 receptions this year in 4 games. He has 17 missed opportunities, whether it was a bad throw, hit him in the hands, he threw it up to the defense, whatever. He has 4 more missed opportunities, we'll call them, than catches on the year. He is averaging 45.5 yards per game for about 3.5 catches per game. He has not found the end zone. And let me remind everybody what I said last week. He is averaging the biggest number of them all for him, $17.5 million per year on the 3-year extension the Browns signed him to. So it frustrates me. But it goes to this, Rozycki, in AA. Like this, we've seen it our whole lives. I know you, Rob, you benefit a little bit from having a few other people to root for and teams to root for. But here's the thing.
Yes. Good teams. Yes.
Yeah. So who are we going to put to kind of teach Jeudy a lesson? Like, hey, if you can't catch the ball, you're not wide receiver 1. Are we putting Cedric Tillman up there? Are we giving Isaiah Bond a chance? They signed the
Cedric Tillman can't catch consistently either, so even if that doesn't matter.
That's the point.
The thing too that I'm looking at from the Browns standpoint is, this offense was supposed to be built and ready to go. Okay, maybe for a couple of games to see if the season's going to be worth anything. But past that, it was built to insert a rookie quarterback into, correct? Be it Dylan Gabriel, be it Shedeur Sanders. If you have an offensive line right now who is old and hurt or underperforming, DeJuan Jones done for the year, Jack Conklin, it's just a matter of time until he ruptures something, and the other guys really just another dudes. You have receivers that don't catch the ball all that well, which in turn kind of turns down the passing game. So you really can't run block all that well. You really can't pass block all that well. And when you do get the ball off, it's a 50-50 chance if it's going to hit the receiver's hands and just fall to the turf. That's not a good environment for a rookie quarterback. No matter who you're talking about, if you're talking Shedeur Sanders, Joe Montana in his prime could not function in this kind of an offense. There's just no way, because Jerry Rice and John Taylor caught the ball. So this just doesn't seem like an ideal situation for. It probably looks like it's going to be Gabriel if he's the one doing mop-up duty now. But it doesn't bode for a good situation for either one of those two guys when they got to go in and play. And how are you going to get an honest-to-God evaluation out of either one of those two guys when passes are clanking off hands and they're running for their life?
It's almost like the Browns had all offseason to look at who they had a receiver, look at the trends, realize none of them have ever been a wide receiver 1, a dominant wide receiver 1, or at least an above average. You don't have to be Calvin Johnson at this point. Just catch the damn ball. And that's why I'm frustrated, because they had all offseason and we're actually wasting one of the best defenses. The Browns have actually, one thing I can say about the Browns in my 28 years of being a sports fan is they, over the last 10 years, have had some good defenses. But this is probably, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL, and we're wasting it. And we're actually wasting where we found, it seems like, a running back after Nick Chubb, which everybody was worried about AA.
Yeah, running back's good.
They were worried about it, though.
Running back's good.
Quinshon Judkins is the only reason this team has a touchdown this week, and he's scoring back-to-back games.
Yeah. Judkins is good.
You had your question about guess the receiver. This NFL team is leading the league with 222.5 yards given up per contest. What team is that? The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Yards allowed, they have the best defense in the league by 10 yards. That's where they're at. And you have an offense. And that's, I think, the frustrating thing about all these games is that you have this all-world defense that is holding up for 3.5 quarters, 3 quarters. But then sooner or later, you're playing the friggin' Detroit Lions, who have a high-powered offense, who are going to get to you if you're on the field for 40 minutes. And that just kind of seems to be the script on most of these games.
Well, the problem,
Also, special teams completely shitting the bed. That's the other one.
Right. And, of course, we gave up a punt return for a touchdown today, too. The problem is, even with the formula of, hey, can the defense keep the offense who's doing nothing in the game, keep them under 20 points, and then maybe you're in – like that was the Green Bay playbook last week. Keep them within striking distance.
That's how you win games, yeah. It's what the Guardians are doing on baseball is pitching is keeping the offense on the other team at bay enough to give you a chance to win at the end.
But in the NFL, and I mentioned this on the Funeral March postgame show earlier today, in the NFL, that worked in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, when the 2000 Ravens absolutely dominated with a mediocre offense. In 2025, where the rules are more based on offense, where DBs basically aren't allowed to do anything beyond 5 yards towards receivers, in a world with Patrick Mahomes and Lamar and others, like that doesn't fly. And we have, in a 4-game sample size, our elite defense, which they are, our elite defense has given up over 30 points because the game just blew open. Our offense did nothing. And
you have special teams letting you down, and you have stupid mistakes. And like, how many times have the defense had to line up already, behind, in their own territory, 30-yard liner back, where you consider it a win if you only get a field goal. Not for nothing, too. I'm looking at the points allowed per game here. The Browns are about middle of the pack at 25.5. They're right around the Bears, the Giants, the Raiders. The Steelers are actually about a point better. Do you know who the worst team defense in terms of giving up points in the NFL is right now?
Is it Tennessee?
No. You played them week 2.
Baltimore.
Wow.
The Baltimore Ravens have given up 33 1/3 points a game in their first 4 games. That puts them behind the Jets and the Dolphins. So,
what's the status of Lamar Jackson?
That's going to, and who knows, if all of a sudden, if they got, I think Cooper Rush is their backup, I think out there, or somebody is some random backup. They got to run him out there. I think they might be dangerously close to looking like the Browns when it comes down to offense. It's going to be Derrick Henry fantasy owners rejoice time.
Right. Cooper Rush stepped in for Lamar Jackson today, and Cooper Rush did not look like Lamar Jackson in any way, shape, or form. And Kansas.
What a rush.
Yeah, you're right. And for this guy who said on last week's show that Kansas City was the least impressive team in my book, boy, did they tell me to shut the F up this week. With their performance.
I mean, the NFL is a wild place, but there's one thing that's certain.
We suck.
Yeah. And let me make it very clear. At this point, don't let Shedeur Sanders get anywhere close to snapping the ball this year.
Well,
please preserve him. Please.
Well, as long as Kevin Stefanski is here, he won't sniff the field.
At this point, though, what is going to be the end result?
Okay, if you're Kevin Stefanski, you got a problem. If you're Kevin Stefanski and you got the problem, you got Joe Flacco, who is either hurt, old, or both. You have Dylan Gabriel, who is woefully unprepared and getting his ass kicked. And you have a choice. Shedeur Sanders or number 4. Who does Kevin Stefanski use? Not who do you use. Who does Kevin Stefanski use?
Rob, you know the answer.
Does he use number 4?
You know the answer.
Does he use number 4?
He's gonna have the organization. He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to, and I don't want to. But
if you imagine all the Shedeur bros, who by the way were Watson bros 4 years ago, that would You want to talk about an abused fan base who's emotionally
Well,
numb? I wouldn't talk about the Browns. I'm talking
every
about the Browns.
I don't want to classify it that way.
Yeah,
I think Deshaun. That's a whole nother topic. But if you're looking and the upcoming QB class is not where you think they would be, and you look at your current situation, basically we're waiting for Dylan Gabriel to be ready to go. If, as you can see, there's a reason why he's being put in these games. As an organization, come December, I'm telling you what's going to happen. Come December, the organization's going to look and say, we got to find out one more time if this money's worth it. No. I'm telling you what's going to happen. I'm telling you. No. And nobody wants it, but you.
Is it
by that point? You're going to be
the money worth it, or are we paying this motherfucker either way? So let's have him take some hits.
Here's the thing: this season's a loss because they aren't going to be able to find any receivers to catch the football between now and December, and they have no line, and they have a lot going on. Starting at, they don't know who their quarterback is. So at the end of the day, the only thing I hope, my wish for Christmas this year is that the Browns don't put Shedeur Sanders in the game. Not because I don't think he's great. I think he's the best option at quarterback. But I think trotting him out there is malpractice as an organization when you have no receivers to throw to, you have no line to be protected, and ultimately you have a team that's head is up their ass and doesn't know what to do. So until you can go draft wide receiver 1 in the draft, then I don't want my franchise quarterback going out.
And I no longer trust Stefanski to draw up a good scheme for somebody like Shedeur anyway. I think Stefanski's schemes are so limited for success. To me, it gives off the vibe that, Kirk Cousins wasn't available, so he's looking for the next Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is great. Kirk Cousins is a fine quarterback, but Kirk Cousins should not be the model for where you want your offense to be for any NFL team.
Going back to Moon's point, though, if you don't want to see Sanders this year, when do you want to see him? Do you want to see him after the Browns pick a quarterback in the top 5 and he's going to be buried on the depth chart? This might be the only year that you have a chance to see Shedeur. Because if it's Nessmeyer and LSU, if it's any of these guys coming out that are seen as, I don't know what Arch Manning and that whole mess is happening with college football. But if it's going to be any of these big guys coming out, do you really think we're going to look at you at Shedeur and say, hey, buddy, I know you've been here for a year, so we're going to just sit this number 1 overall pick on the bench, and we're going to give you the good old college try. That's not going to happen.
And if they don't, it's a tale as old as time with the Cleveland Browns. They'll let the best talent on their team either sit on the bench or they'll let them walk, and then he'll go somewhere else that needs a quarterback, and he'll play excellent for the next 12 to 13 years. Go ahead and do it, Cleveland. Go ahead. I love the Browns.
Cleveland doesn't do that. I mean, that's not really kind of an MO for them, is that? By the way, to the Bucks, they look pretty good against the Eagles, even though they lost. Their quarterback, the Bucks quarterback, went 22 of 40, 289 yards and a couple of tutties. So yeah, I think the Browns might do something like that. Yeah, that might be a good idea.
I thought you were at the Guardians game.
He didn't see the bonus coverage of Baker failing to lead the comeback effort against Philadelphia. I know, I get it.
Okay, but the thing is with Baker, they have played 4 games and they've won now 3-1. Do you know how many comeback drives in the last 6 minutes of the game he has in the first 4 games of the season with a loss?
I'm going to say 8.
4.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you're saying I thought okay.
This year. Yeah, he had 3 comeback drives to win it, but the game they were playing last week, I think it was that big kick return the Jets had against them. Mm-hmm. He had led the drive to take the lead with about 5 minutes to go in the game. They returned the touchdown to retake the lead, and then he just does it again. So, yeah, I don't, okay, Baker's 1 out of, 3 out of 4 when it comes down to comeback drives. I think we'll take that.
Real quickly, back to the Browns. You're waiting on Dylan Gabriel to be ready. Mm-hmm. I think the hand's going to be forced. I think Dylan's going to actually play. I think he's going to play even going into the London game, I think he's playing. I don't think Dylan's ready. I think Dylan Gabriel, in my opinion, is probably going to crash and burn. Give it a few games. He's going to crash and burn. Shedeur's going to play this year. He's going to play. And It's an unfair thing, but this will be his only opportunity to really show, hey, you know what? Maybe he is running for his life, but if we got to draw up high percentage plays to get the football to these receivers who can't catch any balls except for anything out of the flat route, then, maybe something is there. But I'll just say this. We should have appreciated Jameis Winston a little bit more. I know he threw for 5 interceptions per game, but he threw 5 touchdowns per game, too.
I was going to say, when you were talking about him throwing to Jeudy, it was about a 50-50 chance of what team was going to catch it. But you know what? Something fun was going to happen.
All I'm saying, my final point on the Browns quarterback situation, which just, God, I've been living this my whole life. But
it only gets worse from here, buddy.
I just think, at the end of the day, if you're the Browns, you have to protect Shedeur. I'll go out right now, week 4 of the NFL season, 2025 NFL season, and say the Browns are not drafting a quarterback in the first round next year. And I will say they are going to prepare for Shedeur. I think he is going to be the guy, and they are keeping him as far away from the field. They put Gabriel here in second, and I'm just saying, why wouldn't you trot out in a season that's already lost the guy who you don't think is going to be the future? Why would you put Dylan Gabriel in this mess if you think he's the future? Wouldn't you put Shedeur Sanders out there?
Would you be okay to go along with that?
Put Watson out there. Just if you're going to put a tackling dummy out there, put a tackling dummy out there.
Right.
And I wouldn't even mind that. Would you seriously? Are you investing in the draft?
Go ahead, Nutley. What you got for me?
Offensive tackles.
Yeah, I'm drafting everything around the quarterback. I am investing in an offensive tackle because the Browns have not had a left tackle since a good left tackle that we haven't had to worry about since Joe Thomas retired. You're building around the quarterback. Shedeur Sanders can play football. Let's stop acting like it's not in his DNA. He didn't do it at Colorado. He is a guy that can play football. And I know, Rozycki, I already know you. I've done this show with you for quite a bit. I know you're about to say, but the win-loss, and he had his dad there and all that. Guess what?
No, he's a player. He's a player. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
But the thing is that the reality of the situation, he's a 5th-round pick. And should he be a 5th-round pick, it's a different discussion. Right. But he is a 5th-round pick. And normally the opportunities afforded to a 5th-round pick are, hey, the season's going to shit. You're going to have to run for your life. And that guy over there and that guy only is going to be the dude that's going to be able to catch the ball for you. It's normally not a good situation. They don't bring in Brock Purdy whenever, they don't get the whole, they don't get everything ready for him to come on in. You're coming in and you're taking up a reclamation project and you're going to have to handle it. So that's where Shedeur's at. Unfortunately, again, we could discuss if he should be or shouldn't be a 5th-round pick. I think he was probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick when you get down to it. But again, the Browns didn't feel that way. So, but when it comes down to this offense and the upcoming draft, I think if Andrew Berry went with Eli Moon's plan, and by the way, they have tried to invest in offensive tackles before.
They have.
Frederick Wills is sitting on long-term IR right now because he's just that bad. Whatever. Yeah. So, first off, are you going to trust the same guy who drafted Jed Wills to draft your future left tackle?
No.
And
second, gonna go.
Second, you're going to be walking into the first round with probably a top 7 pick with the Browns. The Browns' own pick is going to be it's going to be a pretty good pick. Let's face that. The Jaguars are 3-1 right now. So I don't know if that's going to be a 20s pick, a teens pick, an aughts pick, whatever. If you are Andrew Berry and you have this stank-ass quarterback room that the Browns do have right now, and you have 2 first-round picks and don't bring in anybody in with those picks, that, I believe, is a fireable offense.
Let me add one quick thing, too. Hey, at least Myles Garrett went into a good situation.
And so do you have some teams in mind that you would like to go to?
There are definitely contenders on the AFC side and NFC side. I'm not, glued to anyone at the certain moment. But, like I said, I just want to be in a position to play in those big games and win big games and feel like I can make a meaningful impact and elevate a team and take them over the top.
All right. Good job. There you
Courtesy
go.
Of Rich Eisen show.
Courtesy of the Rich Eisen show. At least, we had to narrow that down because he was saying that to literally anybody with a pulse on Media Row for the week of the Super Bowl.
Hey,
But Miles, at least you got paid though, bro. Good job.
We had a Super Bowl contender. We played last week. That was the Super Bowl last week. We beat the Packers. Came back and beat them 13-10.
Yeah.
And I think the longer the season goes, and I think everyone kind of saw it for what it was in the moment, but I think the longer the season goes, the more anomalous that loss is going to be. I think we're going to be sitting here mid-December going, I can't believe they actually beat the Packers when the Packers were, playing well. So, yeah, I mean, the Browns are a bad organization. That's what it comes down to. All of the things that Moon was talking about, that AA's been talking about, that I've been talking about, they have one commonality. It's an organization that doesn't set their players up well. This quarterback room, if you wanted to set up Gabriel well, then why the hell did you draft Shador? If you wanted to set up Shador, then why the hell did you draft Dylan Gabriel? This thing has been confusing. You had 4 quarterbacks on the roster till about 15 minutes before week 1 started. This thing was completely confusing from the start. You had nobody who really knew what was happening. It seemed like from Stefanski to the guys involved, to Jimmy Haslam, to D probably knew what was going on, and Paul DePodesta probably knew what was going on because he doesn't do anything else. But you have an organization right now that just doesn't draft well, that doesn't put the players they do draft well in good situations. Like, look at, I know, they're hurt as hell right now, but if you look at the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan knows how to put a quarterback in a situation ready to go. He's put Brock Purdy in that situation. He's put Garoppolo in that situation. Well, he has had guys come in and out. What was it? Josh Johnson, I think they had for a couple of games.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota knows how to do that too. He revitalized Sam Darnold's career. Ask Baker Mayfield about Sean McVay. They know how to put good quarterbacks into good situations. The Browns, they have very well have had maybe some good quarterbacks over the last 15, 20 years. They just don't put them in a good situation. And that's a bad organization. I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, Rob, who's in AA, talking about quarterbacks and talking about former number 1 overall picks, and actually maybe just the current number 1 overall pick. Rob, I know you were in baseball land today, but Cam Ward had a bad day.
I mean, we keeping the buck right now, we ass. So we 0-4. We have, this point, we got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our fucking games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in, especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all 3 faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet. And that's just something that, we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better, and we're doing that, but it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
Sounds like you're... Rob, I am so glad this is a podcasting network, and we didn't have to edit that clip one bit.
I'm going to say he's probably going to be a few dollars lighter by Monday or Tuesday. He's going to have to make a contribution to NFL charities. Cam Ward. Wow. I mean, this is not the U anymore, it looks like. He is seeing what, like, that's the first time I've seen that. So, holy hell. Like, I don't want to completely, kick his ass for it because we always want honest responses out of our athletes in those kind of situations. And if it was anything, it was honest. I'm looking at the box score right now, 26-0. The Houston Texans, I was going to say defeat, but we'll go with destroy. The Tennessee Titans. I'm reading that right. I'm reading 10 of 26, 108 yards and a turnover, right, for Cam Ward? Okay.
Yeah. And let's not pat the Texans on the back, because I know we're gonna do our most impressive and most disappointing teams later.
I think Cam Ward knows the answer.
But at the end of the day, it's like, let's not act like the Texans are good, okay? I have multiple Texans on my fantasy football team. They aren't good. The Titans are just very, very, very bad.
Oh, man.
And that's
this game looked like a big old nothing burger to really start this thing, to start the whole game out. I mean, you go into the fourth quarter, you have 26. I'm looking at this right now, actually. 26-0 looks bad, for Tennessee for sure. But at the top of the fourth quarter, this thing was 6-0 Tennessee. So it's, or 6-0 Houston. So it's not like, the Texans got out big and just kind of coasted the second half here. It looked like, they did most of their damage in the fourth quarter, and this thing was a big old steaming pile of shit for 3 quarters, it looks like.
And that's like, man, dude, like I feel bad for Cam Ward, but I swear, I know we just talked about a guy in the last, a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
I swear all the big hoopla during the draft process, AA, was about how Cam Ward was a quiet guy. He puts his head down, is in the playbook.
Yep.
He's not going to speak out and cause drama. He's going to be ready to go day one. But then a guy that Cleveland drafted in the 5th round, who's been pretty quiet all year.
He's been very quiet and has told his dad to stay away, basically.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you're right. And the thing is with Cam Ward had the least amount of pressure as the number 1 overall pick and one of the more least relevant NFL teams in the Tennessee Titans right now. I mean, Tennessee could have went 1-15, 1-16.
They
and
probably
Cam Ward would have been out of the spotlight. It would have been just fine. But that clip will be one of the leading clips on the sports shows tomorrow. And again, it can go either way. Either it actually does pick up and Tennessee does wake up and you have a guy who hates losing is actually showing his personality.
Yeah, is this Tim Tebow, tearfully saying that this is the last game this team will ever lose? That's the question.
Yeah.
It's going to be up, and that's kind of what I see more out of this than angry. Like I'm a little bit more impressed with this even than Jerry Jeudy, even though this is far more profane. Because this seems like the team leader calling everybody out. This seems This seems like hey, I'm the guy. I'm the one that everybody's looking to. We'll see if it takes. We'll see if it works. I think Cam probably has a couple of years. I think they'll probably clear off this coaching staff before they get rid of him. But I'd be kind of curious to see how Tennessee's going to react to this. I think Tennessee is going to be one of those teams that's far better in the last 4 weeks of the season than the last 4 weeks than the first 4 weeks. I think they're going to get better throughout the year. And if they do, Cam will be in a good spot. Remember, Peyton Manning, that team looked like dog shit when he was his rookie year. I think 1-15. Right. Troy Aikman, I think, was roughly the same record, 1-15, 2-14. Right. So, yeah, I mean, they're in it for the long haul with Cam. I think they're gonna take their lumps. I think he's gonna learn from this press conference, especially when he has to cut that check. But I think he will. I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this because the other thing he's the number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. One thing number 1 picks always have to deal with is that their first receiving core in the NFL is dog shit compared to what they had in college. So he's dealing with, a kind of a step down with the skill players a little bit. Miami's offense was absolutely loaded last year. So it seems like, I'm sure things will work out a little bit.
Yeah, that's spot on. And to your point, what we heard from Cam Ward, while very raw, was accountability, personal accountability.
Jerry wasn't anybody else.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, that was none of that. That was, we got to be better. It wasn't even I need to do things better. It was, you're not acknowledging that you dropped all those balls. You're not acknowledging that you're hurting the team personally as the group collective. And you're trying to speak out as the leader. No.
Can I be honest?
And Cam's a quarterback. He's the leader. If there's going to be somebody to say about it, anything about it, it's going to be the one thing he might have to worry about in that locker room is veterans saying, "Hey, kid, mind your place." But I think they're in a spot where if the veteran says that, the veteran's going to be a veteran for somebody else.
Correct.
I'm just going to be honest. I love this shit. Go ahead, Cam Ward. Go ahead.
I have no problem with it. I'm not offended by it. I'm not. It was entertaining as hell. So have at it.
If you're a Tennessee Titan watching that clip and you're not offended by your own play that your quarterback has to sit up there and say, "We are ass," or "We ass," as Cam Ward said, then I don't know what you might have not love football and winning. Then go, Cam Ward. I'm just thinking it's funny that he was quiet all draft process, and now he's been the most. I've heard so many sound bites out of this guy in the last however many months he's been with the Titans. But
it's pretty easy to be quiet and content when you're a top 20 team in the country. You're flirting with the college football playoff. You're winning more than you're losing. Cam Ward, he 0-4 right now. I'm sure that he has lost more games this year than he probably has in the last couple of years of his college career. So, that was Trevor Lawrence the same way when he got to Tennessee or when he got to Jacksonville. He lost more games I think in the first month of the season than he had all the way back to middle school. So. Yeah, I mean, when you're pissed off, you got something to say, and he clearly had something to say.
One of the greatest sound bites ever, too. One of the greatest sound bites.
Yeah, that's going to be that's going to go down.
I'm saying that for our meetings.
Yeah, the only reason why that won't get played a lot is because all of the bleeps. At least with, we are who they thought they were, and you play to win the game and practice and all that. That's, PG or PG-13 rated. This one was straight up Quentin Tarantino rated R.
Shoot, don't play it on McAfee uncut.
I thought it was AI. Can I be real? I thought it was AI.
Yes. Because and it's kind of refreshing too, because you're right on the AI point, because you very rarely get a quarterback that's going to look at you and say, hey, we fucking suck. Hey, we got to pull our heads out of our asses. We shouldn't have gotten paid for today for how bad we played. That's basically what he did. And you know what? I'm sure the Tennessee Titan fans, to your guys' point, were thinking the exact same thing he was thinking. So,
look,
no lies, and he held himself accountable. So you really can't get pissed.
I had coming into this show, my least impressive team. It was going to be a different team. But Cam Ward convinced me to change my mind, because by his own admission, they're the least impressive team. And in his words, this is why they've been my least impressive team of week 4.
I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we ass. So we 0-4. We have this one. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our fucking games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in, especially myself on the offensive line. From the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces, we have to play together. We have not played together this year yet. And that's just something that, we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better. And we're doing that, but it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
Sounds like you're
20-12, 33-19, 41-20, 26-0. And, I mean, if Cam Ward was sitting in this chair, he would even say the least impressive team is the Tennessee Titans.
So I think, and I don't want to spoil next segment, but I think one thing that all three of us learned in the last 24 hours is that between Jeudy and Cam Ward, I don't think either one of those guys are going to get hired to do PR for their team in the next few months. I'm just thinking that you don't want that on the season ticket brochure or anything like that. We ask.
There might be a company out there that's like, hey, we like forward thinking. We like brutal honesty.
Charmin. We ask.
Brought to you by Dude Wipes. Yeah, we ask.
Yeah.
Soft like the Tennessee Titans. Charmin soft. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the good thing for Newton or for Ward is that he only got sacked twice, so at least he didn't get his head physically kicked in. But yeah, I think mentally he's hurting.
I'm gonna take. Go ahead, Rozycki. You got something?
Oh, you're good.
All right, I was going to just piggyback off AA with the least impressive team in the NFL. And honestly, I've been thinking about it all week, okay? And I'm like, man, who am I going to pick? And I want to pick the Browns every single time. But honestly, I'm going to say the most disappointing team in the NFL right now is the Baltimore Ravens. And with the news of Lamar Jackson being out, we don't know how long, with a hamstring injury, with Derrick Henry looking like, Father Time has finally caught up to him, and the negligence of not getting a true wide receiver one. Zay Flowers is good. We just haven't seen it enough. But I think Baltimore's in some trouble, and they've let defensive pieces go year after year and think they can just retool, and I think this is the year that they may be in trouble. And if Lamar's out extended time, it's going to be a long, long season for the Baltimore Ravens, and it's crazy to think they're chilling in the basement right now with the Cleveland Browns.
I think they're definitely in the most trouble. I don't know if they're disappointing, I think is a good word, but they're definitely in trouble. Especially if this Lamar thing is going to be any sort of time. Yeah, I mean, you got a fan base that was expecting a division title, another division title this year. I mean, they're on that short list of AFC teams with the Bills and the Chiefs for the teams that basically just kind of see the regular season as a formality. But I don't know if they're going to get an invitation to the dance now with that defense leaking like a sieve. Again, we just brought it up, 33.5 points a game they're giving up. That is the worst in the NFL. I don't think there's ever been a point in time where any one of the three of us have been watching Baltimore Ravens football where they have been statistically anything close to the worst offense or defense in football. So, yeah, you mix the uncertainty on offense and the poor performance on defense, and I know Harbaugh is a great coach out there, but I don't know how much you can coach your way out of this one.
I was trying to look up the status of Lamar. He's going to be looked at tomorrow, according to a source, Pro Football Talk. When I was looking up Lamar on Twitter, I kept seeing pictures of Lamar dressed as Stephen A. or somebody else. Anytime Lamar faces Kansas City, it just doesn't work out for him. And, that's the conversation I'm sure Eli and Rob that they're having right now on Baltimore sports radio is like, man, we're one of the best teams in football. And when it comes to facing Kansas City, we get hurt, never can pull through.
It's hard to, well, believe me, Lamar and Josh Allen can start a support group and make some jackets up over, getting the bugaboo from Patrick Mahomes. But right now with the Ravens, it's an odd spot, and we'll see what happens again with this Lamar injury. But they've been playing at a high level. They just haven't been winning games. I mean, we've seen them completely screw up a 10-point lead earlier in the season. They've played well, but when it just comes to the end of the game, they shit the bed. And you couple that with I think it's over 10 double-digit leads they have had and lost games with. So I mean, this isn't a new thing with the Ravens with anybody. And yeah, maybe today it was the Chiefs, maybe tomorrow it'll be the Ravens, but it's also been with the Raiders and with teams that were not exactly all that great and not heavyweight fighters coming in. So yeah, they're definitely in a lot of trouble, and what's not helping right now, Pittsburgh's keeping on winning. They're 3-1. Cincinnati, they're keeping their head above water. I have yet to really kind of get into depth on what's been happening with bungle football going on here the last several hours, but at least those guys, you got a pretty tough division that you're going to have to deal with. So I don't know.
We'll see Cincinnati tomorrow on Monday Night Football.
Oh, yes, and that was going to be my most disappointing team of people. Not so much an NFL team, but it's the schedule makers at the National Football League and the folks who decide what's going to be a Thursday, what's going to be an early Sunday, late Sunday, and Monday and Sunday night. We have a doubleheader for Monday Night Football. Normally, that is cause for celebration, especially on a day that the Guardians are off. Normally, I would be very happy about that, and I'll sit down with my ESPN app and get my $30 a month worth and get all happy, joy. There are two games, 4 teams. The combined record of those 4 teams, 3-9. 3-9. The Bengals are 2-1. The Broncos are 1-2. They play each other. And the Jets and Dolphins play each other with a team looking for their first goddamn win of the season. That is what happens with standalone primetime football games. If I'm the Jets, if I am a Dolphins fan, even a Bengals fan, there is only bad that can happen from this. We're going to have probably a shot of Mike McDaniel looking like he needs a colonoscopy while his team is down by 2 scores to the New York Jets. That's what we're going to be at here, folks. We're going to have the Bengals probably get their heads kicked in by a Bronco team that, guess what, actually protects their quarterback and can keep them in the game the entire time. So, Jake Browning, I know you're 2-1. I know you're a good backup quarterback, but you're going to be running for your friggin' life. We're not exactly talking about the greatest of the great when it comes down to these 2 primetime games. And honestly, I don't even know what they were seeing when they saw this. Who in the hell in the NFL office looked at the Jets and the Dolphins and said, you know what? those bastards are going to be great. Those bastards, that's going to be much watched, must-see TV on ESPN. We're going to watch Tyreek Hill run from, opposing defenders and the police at probably equal speed. We're going to see Mike McDaniel run that offense. No, nobody said that. And the Jets, no. Nobody ever says that with it. They had Aaron freaking Rodgers, and no one ever said that with the Jets. So I don't even know what they were looking at when they saw these teams. So, yes. In lieu of any sort of actual educated opinion on what happened in any NFL game, I'm pissed off at the games that I have left to watch tomorrow. Oh, yeah, and by the way, too, good job with the Cowboys on Sunday night. Very happy about that, too.
My most impressive is the team that I said was the least impressive last week, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. I think sometimes with teams that are so good, they're so dominant over time, it is very easy to pick apart them, because for the first 3 weeks, by their standards and by the standards that we expect to see out of Kansas City, they look like trash. Coming into this game as 1-2, I used the analogy last week that this team looked like, if you want to use basketball terms, the 2003 Los Angeles Lakers. That was the year after all the three-peat, and the year before Gary Payton and Karl Malone joined the team, where Kobe and Shaq as a team, like, they didn't look that great, but they, the allure of, they're a championship team, they're a dynasty, that's that. But when you're facing top-level competition, and I know, again, we just talked about the Ravens, they had some injuries, some critical injuries, but Patrick Mahomes looked like classic Patrick Mahomes this afternoon. I believe he threw 4 touchdowns in this game. Hollywood Brown looked great. And the Chiefs right now, that was the game. They won today 37-20. That's the type of game where they reminded America that they're still here.
The Chiefs are pretty good at doing that, yeah. They're pretty good at kind of making us forget and then reminding us.
Yeah, that they're still here. And I'm always impressed, because we talked about on the other side, you talked about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson struggling against the Chiefs at big moments. But the fact is, when you have when you are at the top, sometimes it's very easy to let up. I covered Kyle Cornell and I last Friday covered Kirtland Hornets. Kirtland is one of the top teams in high school football in Northeast Ohio, in the state. They're Division 6, but you look them up, they win state titles or compete at state championships almost every year. And you wonder, when they face good opponents, how does a team like that compete? Are they motivated? What do they do? And they faced an opponent last Friday. They were both 5-0, and Kirtland wiped the floor against that team. Kansas City went into today. Chris Jones, full compliments to Chris Jones. He had just come from his auntie's funeral, flew in, made it to the stadium. Actually landed in town within 40 minutes of kickoff. Made it back in town. He got dressed just in time for kickoff and started. And he just did an unbelievable job. He did get a solo tackle, so a little light on the step. 2 QB hits there. So, this Kansas City team showed up. They showed out. And they're my most impressive because they reminded the rest of our NFL who the top dogs are.
Yeah, established dominance. And, it looks like it was a pretty interesting NFL week all the way around. I know no one's going to really care too much about it, but one thing I do want to shout out, I did see it looks like if you want to trade for Russell Wilson, the Giants will totally make that happen. Congratulations to Jackson Dart, the rookie coming in, losing his top receiver through the game. It looks like Malik Neighbors down for the season with an ACL, but that didn't hamper the rookie. Actually came in and beat a pretty good Chargers team that people are expecting a lot of things out of. Beat them 21-18 at MetLife. And not bad Jackson Dart for a quarterback that I don't think people had a whole lot of high hopes for really coming into the draft. But, good job on that. Good job on the Giants. And Brian Dable might not be a lame duck coach yet.
How about that, Eli?
How about that? I'll take us home, I guess, with my most impressive team, and it pains me in my absolute soul. I hate this. Double A. I did a lot of bouncing around. I even had a team pulled up here on the.
Oh no! You're not about to pick who I think you're going to pick.
But they played at a time where they deserve to because nobody wants to see them in prime time. They have much to. Rob's kind of eating his own words, and it pains me as a fan, but Aaron Rodgers is playing pretty good football, all right enough football to do well.
I almost picked him too.
DK Metcalf is still DK Metcalf.
I tried not to pick the Steelers just to not be an asshat, but yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers are my most impressive team by week 4 of the NFL because barring what Cincinnati does tomorrow, they could be in sole possession of first place of the AFC North.
Yeah, and thoughts and prayers out to Skylar Thompson, backup quarterback for the Steelers, who apparently got mugged while in Dublin, Ireland. It looks like everybody's okay, but I think the NFL wants some answers about why one of their players had to give up their car keys and wallet and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the Steelers have been playing pretty well, and we've seen it happen before. What was it, a couple of years ago? They were 10-0 to start the season, and then basically jackknifed. So we'll see what happens on Mike Tomlin's quest to 9-8. So,
hey, buddy.
Hey, who they lose to that year?
Who they lose to?
What, the playoffs?
Yeah, the playoffs. Yeah.
Was that the Stefanski? Was that the Stefanski basement game?
Yep. Yeah.
That was the Big Ben crying game.
Yeah.
Big Ben crying game.
Yep.
Keeping in mind, if we're going to talk some shit here, that Kevin Stefanski's greatest win as a head coach occurred with him in his own basement.
We ain't up here defending Kevin Stefanski. We're talking about the Browns.
All right. Well, we'll actually. You guys just want to take a quick break here? We will talk some shit. It looks like here while we catch our breath and I get another Sprite. We'll come back. We'll talk a little college football. Figure out what the hell we learned this week, and then get you going on your merry way. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. The long-haired gentleman with the hat looking very, very debonair is Eli Moon. And we have the person who looks like a cast member of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Anthony Alford. He is also over here. We are the main event, and this is the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. And I'm going to sign off right now so Double A can't bitch at me.
Wait till I mute these mics.
Hey there, everybody. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. The person who's doubled over in the corner over there is Double A Anthony Alford. We have Eli Moon keeping his shit together pretty well, I'd have to say. But we've got a lot of stuff already in the first hour and a half. What's up?
That was me working. He was like, all right, we're back.
Well, what everyone at home doesn't realize is that I was taking a monster slug of Sprite Zero right before this whole thing started, and I was trying to get my own shit together. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But we've had a chance to talk about a lot of stuff here, really NFL centric, and this amazing Guardians run in the MLB playoffs. Really throughout this entire week. And now we have a slate of games ready to go on Tuesday and Wednesday. We have obviously NFL tomorrow. And we had some college football action over the weekend. It looks like 4 of the top 8 teams lost. James Franklin did James Franklin things. Penn State looked good until they didn't. Ohio State didn't look good until they did. But, we've had a lot of compelling matchups. It seems like week after week, it's, these dream matchups, these big heavyweight fights that I think as college football fans only used to getting maybe once or twice a year, not 3 or 4 times a week. And I heard Eli kind of talking about it off air a little bit and having some concerns about the state of modern college football that really doesn't have a whole lot to do with NIL, which is kind of a novel thing.
Well, Rob, as a brother of a Ohio State Buckeye, a proud Ohio State Buckeye, with his team being the number 1 ranked team in the nation, I do have some concerns for the state of college football and for my brother and for the fans of college football going forward. Because let's go over some of these games. Oregon, number 6, 30-24 over number 3 Penn State.
In double overtime.
Alabama, number 17, one of the rougher starts ranking-wise this year, but they beat 24-21, upset Georgia again. And then you have Virginia even beating Florida State in double overtime that was Friday night. And then Florida State lost a receiver that day too because they stormed the field and they lost.
Because of the fans.
But long story short, there was so much action, Double A, Rob. A college football fan's dream 10 years ago when the BCS was around. But now that everybody seems to be in the same 3-4 conferences, everybody plays. I mean, Oregon's playing Penn State in a conference game in 2025. And I think it just goes to show that maybe the NCAA on the football side got a little too cute with combining the conferences and doing that with a 12-team playoff. Because, okay, well, hey, if you miss Oregon Penn State yesterday, you'll probably see it again in December, January for the playoffs.
Well, I mean, yeah, you look at that Texas-Ohio State game to start the season off. That was a rematch from, 2 games before for Ohio State when you get down to it. So,
right.
Yeah, the way I'm seeing it, too, is it's, too much of a good thing. It's, we like those matchups growing up. Obviously, I got 20 years of watching this stuff on you. But, we always like that number 1 versus number 3, the Catholics versus the Cons, or, if it is a, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, whatever going on with that. It's great. But what the NCAA has done with these mega conferences and putting it, because the one thing you didn't mention was the Oregon Penn State game was a conference game. That was a game that Penn State did not seek out. That was not one of their, 3 cupcake, whatever week options they have. That was what was given to them by the commissioner's office. So because of these mega conferences, you're seeing a lot more, Texas and Oklahoma being in the SEC, and you're seeing those matchups happen a lot now. With the teams out west, the Pac-12 teams now defecting to the Big Ten. You're seeing those matchups now. Ohio State-Washington used to be a Rose Bowl matchup. Now it was week 4. And because of that, though, it has gotten watered down. And what it is the NCAA, it's the goose that laid a golden egg. They saw how much money they make off one of these big mega matchups. And the logic was, hey, let's have more bigger mega matchups. We'll make more money. Not understanding that you're just going to dilute the big mega matchup. And now, instead of it being an event, Texas and Ohio State, or Notre Dame had a couple. Notre Dame's different because they're independent. But instead of having those, that big game being the end all be all, being the alpha and omega of the whole thing, it's just a hell of an opening day, and we're just going to move on. And I think to your point with the playoff, you've you've given these big programs a net. We saw it, with the Guardians, it was stress free today. It was low stress today anyway, because we'd already clinched. There was already that safety net there. If you're Texas and you drop that first one to Ohio State, you're still probably going to the playoff. If you're, if you're Georgia and you drop it to Alabama, you're still probably going to the playoff. So there's not that like high risk, dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight anymore. It's just, okay, it was a good game. Moving on. What's the next good game?
Right. I think the other thing too, because yesterday there were a lot of good games, even USC and Illinois. That was a good one. But I think the problem is that for every Saturday that you get these number of good games, there are other Saturdays, even with the mergers of conferences, where there are a ton of garbage matchups. So even from a standpoint of habits, right? So I know for me personally, like I'm single now, but like for years, you either pick Saturday or Sunday to dedicate to watch football. Yeah. The other day is kind of
being a person.
Yeah. And no doubt, NFL football every Sunday, that's what you watch, because every Sunday you're guaranteed great matchups. You're not guaranteed great matchups every Saturday with college football. Right. So even on a Saturday where you do have great matchups and you're loaded, oh crap, the Guardians have a shot to make the playoffs. I'm going to go there instead. There are other things going on in life that disrupts the flow of college football. So either they got to lean, in my opinion, Eli and Rob, either you got to lean all the way one way and just say screw it and just have an NFL style schedule.
A Super League. That's the Super League.
Yeah, throughout the year, or you go back the old way. I think going halfway, which is what there are now, is too inconsistent. Like, it shouldn't be like how many top how many top 25 matchups are there next week?
Let's take a look.
Next week.
Yep, let's take a look.
This is live television, folks.
Well, it's not Ohio State. They're taking on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota, and they only have a 95% chance of winning that game. So, to your point on that.
Number 16 Vanderbilt at number 10 Alabama at 3:30 on ABC.
So that's one.
We have number 3 Miami going into number 18 Florida State, 7:30 at ABC.
That's two. So we have two top 25 matchups.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, let me ask you this, Double, not to like counter your point, and really not even counter. I just a question to you. You say you either lean this way or this way. You either go back to the BCS type style, or you go into this Super League, as Rob called it. Which way do you want?
Super League.
Okay.
Super League.
I'm in the same
because, and I say Super League because it gives teams at the mid-level an opportunity to still say that they had a successful season. Because I think those teams, you can still have them compete in a playoff situation.
Yeah.
If Illinois, Indiana, some of these other teams, if they're good at the mid-level, as long as you offer some kind of incentive to the top teams, I think it's fine. Okay. I think you go that route. I think when you have the Super Leagues, at that point, games every week and every time slot matters, and you develop habits. You develop, we mentioned, sports is television. Sports is entertainment. You develop entertainment habits.
Well, and to your Super League point, though, I think they need to do it because you're dealing with some schools, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama. We all know the cast of characters when it comes down to major college football. They are entertainment. They bring home the bacon. They make the money. But Kent State, even lower level teams like Minnesota in the Big Ten or Illinois or Nebraska or Iowa, whatever, they're playing kind of a different game right now. They're two different entities. That what you see in the MAC or what you see in the lower end power 4 ball, that's closer to maybe what, I'm used to, your dads are used to, your granddads are used to of college football. What Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State are playing, that's something else. That's a different ball game. That is, NFL track. That is, we're getting millions of dollars for the rights fees, because I'll guarantee you, anybody who, Fox has the Big Ten contract, they didn't buy it because of Minnesota.
No.
They didn't grab it because of Iowa and their 17 points a game. They're not grabbing it because of Rutgers and Maryland. They're grabbing it because of Ohio State and Michigan, and maybe Penn State, maybe Michigan State in a given year, Wisconsin, those kind of, that subset of teams that'll rank up there. But, SEC, ESPN did not buy them for Vanderbilt, did not buy them for the lower end teams. So if you cut the crap and these big programs finally just say what they are, and that's basically a pro team, yeah, have at it. Just at least you're not trying to piss on me and tell me it's rain. Just be what you are. And plus two, okay, the football will be better. Hey, happy, joy.
Yeah, the football would be better. It'd be a lot of better stuff there. I would take it.
Okay.
I would take it.
All right.
You're right, though. Like, it was a lot of good games, and I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and spend $30-some to watch the Guardians clutch this playoff spot.
You know what I was doing? I was producing Real Talk with Papa Moon on the Inside.
Yes, you was. Yes, you was.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job. That was a great show.
Thank you.
You can check that out on the Inside Edge Net. You see it all throughout. But yeah, your dad's doing a great job with that show, and you're doing a great job producing that.
Thank you. You know, it's
that's the only time me speaking as a boss of this entire operation.
I've never, on a side note, because I know we're ready to take this wheel. What do you say? This wagon back to the fire station. But man, Pops, I never thought I'd meet somebody that was a little bit, clash when it comes to talent and talent. Man, now I see where I get it from. Love you, Papa Moon. You're doing a great job.
Every Saturday, you guys will be on. It's every Saturday, doing a great job.
Okay, well, you want to talk about what we learned today, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Does it seem to be about that time, or do we have any more college football thoughts? Do we want to make fun of Eli and maybe Moon a little bit more, and maybe Double A a little bit more, or what's going on here?
No, let's talk about what we learned, because your boy a little tired. You about to get.
I was going to say, we're pushing 11 o'clock here on the eastern coast of said United States. So,
because somebody had to go watch the Guardians today win the AL Central.
Actually, the thing is, the Guardians, and the way it kind of worked out, the Guardians won the AL Central probably the 7th inning of that game. That's when the Detroit game went final, and the players on the field were very confused about why 30,000 people started screaming their heads off in an inning break. But that's where we're at.
The funniest thing, real quick before Eli goes, so on Friday, listened to the game on the radio, and I've never heard Hammy be so happy after a final call loss. He was like, Cleveland falls to Texas 7-3, but hey, Detroit lost.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend right now. We almost got Sweet Caroline at Progressive Field when the Red Sox beat the Tigers. So it's been a ride for sure, and hopefully we got more than just 2 little games left, and we can make this thing kind of run through the bulk of October, maybe even Game 7 of the World Series is November 1st this year, so maybe go even that far.
We'll see if Eli can make it to that game. I'm messing with you. Go ahead, Eli.
We'll see who's in town.
You want to talk about what I learned? Go ahead.
So what I learned this weekend, gentlemen, actually just broke recently, and I figured I'd share some current news as the music man of this tandem group we have here. It is reported, and I'm looking right here. My source is to apnews.com, the Associated Press, but also Bad Bunny's also announced it as well, and super honored to be the halftime performer at the Super Bowl this year. And I think this is great. As a music artist and somebody who's stepping into the promoter and executive side as well, and doing it independently, I think it's really inspiring to see somebody who's really, I mean, yes, he's got the backing of labels now, but he really got it out the mud. And like you have heard more and more about Bad Bunny doing things. Like, I mean, he's done side quests with the WWE. I mean, his entrance was like a concert. He's been everywhere. He was actually in Happy Gilmore 2 earlier this year, made a cameo.
Well, I think one of three of us was in Happy Gilmore. I think everybody was in Happy Gilmore, but I do see what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just very inspiring. And somebody, and no offense, I love the legends, I love the oldies, but growing up and watching like Bruce Springsteen play at the halftime show and these different acts that, I mean, I'm sorry, I love music and I appreciate the legends, but Bruce Springsteen was probably about like 15 years, past where he should have been asked to do the halftime show. And, and that's just not me saying that, but I think for the younger generation,
Sports Illustrated says that. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's like, for the younger generation like myself, I think it's very refreshing to see somebody that connects with the younger audience and brings something cool. I mean, he's very proud of his Puerto Rican heritage, and it's cool for somebody who does have family that's Puerto Rican. It's super cool to see that pushed and put on a grand stage. He's actually leading all nominees at the Latin Grammys right now, and so he's taking over the world, and I think it's cool. We had Kendrick Lamar last year. We've had, we had the 50 Cent and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
The West Coast show.
The West Coast show was amazing.
I hate to say it, but those are legends, man. I hate to say it, but those guys, they've been around probably a little less than Springsteen.
My final point, though, on that, because I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about what you learned. But what I'll say about that, Rob, is the younger generation still connects for the most part with those guys because they have made a point to connect with the younger generations. Most of them, 50 included, is always on social media.
He was on Savannah. I just saw him doing the Savannah Bananas stuff the other day.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I will nitpick on that. The one thing, and yes, okay, we'll give all the kiddies their music because Bad Bunny is a rapper, so we're good with that. Like, I am not the target audience. I understand that. The Super Bowl is in San Francisco this year, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. It's at Levi Stadium.
Yep.
Correct. Metallica is also from San Francisco. Now, you want to talk about connecting with the younger kids? Moon, you know who Metallica is.
I get it.
I don't understand why we have done and this just isn't this year, but it's for 25 years. They could have been the Super Bowl halftime show when Montana was playing.
But
we just haven't done it. And that is, I think that's something I'll never see. Or if I do, it'll be, either Metallica or myself is very old and very gray.
All respect to Metallica. When is the last time they dropped a single? Bad Bunny could drop a single the week before the Super Bowl and it'd be sang through the entire crowd. And that's no disrespect. I respect the legends as a music head, as somebody who's in music. So this is a good move for the NFL. We always talk about how baseball is behind the times, not promoting the game. This is huge for the NFL because it's going to bring in more casual fans. And that's
especially too, you're talking about folks your age. You're talking about, again, a big, strong Puerto Rican demo coming in with that too.
Right.
Yeah, and that's an area that the NFL I know wants to get better at is Puerto Rico, Latin America, Caribbean, that kind of, there's not a lot of representation in the NFL today about that. So, okay, I mean, it's a halftime show. I mean, I'm not going to be ever one to throw a chair over a good or a bad halftime show, but cool.
You'll be moving.
Bad Bunny's going to do a great job. I wish it was Janet Jackson. I've been wishing it's been Janet Jackson for the last 20-some years.
It ain't going to be Janet Jackson. She's probably on a list of persona non grata. It's like Andrew Dice Clay on Saturday Night Live. Ain't going to happen.
One of the all-time great birthday presents ever.
I get that. And there's an irony there that Janet Jackson was basically had her shirt ripped off by Justin Timberlake, and Jackson was the one that was punished for it. So
complete BS.
Yeah.
Complete BS.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Now remember, NFL, Rock Nation, they handle the. So I know one of these years somebody out there is going to say more, enough rap. Enough.
It's gonna be me up there.
Yeah. I kind of wouldn't mind actually.
Don't shut it down.
Come on, man. You ready to see this face in like so many pixelated HD cameras and come on.
Moon's gonna shut it down. I got cousins ready to hit the music scene themselves, so they're all ready to go.
Double A.
Yes, sir.
What did you learn this weekend?
I learned that there was a time that I was always about championship or bust or anything like that. And then at some point, my perspective changed. Now, I am still in a perfect world. I need the Guardians to go 162-0. I need the Cavs to go 82-0, everything like that. What Saturday did make me realize, though, it was the craziest thing. I went to the game by myself, actually. I saw a lot of great people and stuff. I actually got to say hello to our old buddy Nick Camino over at Channel 3 after the game. He was when the teams were when the Guardians, I think they were taking photos this was after the fireworks on Saturday. Camino was on the field getting ready for his Channel 3 hit. I just happened to see him. And I went down and said hello to him. It was just great. I saw it was crazy. Like, I'm looking at social media like, oh, he was at the game. He was at the game. She was at the game. They like, so many people were at the game. Half of them I didn't think were baseball fans. We all share our opinions about how to feel, I guess, about this Guardians run and the end result. And yeah, there is a chance that next Sunday I'm going to be very angry if it doesn't go my way or anything like that. But Saturday made me realize it's okay for a night and maybe for a lifetime to smell the roses when something special happens. And we talked about how this run was basically impossible. And it happened. And not just,
very impossible.
Not just like, oh, parts of it happened and we came up short, or we did this and Detroit still took care of business. This was, if you remember the start of this run, when we were trying to go for the wild card, everybody else kept winning. Everybody kept winning. We couldn't really establish ourselves because other teams had like 5-6 game win streaks too. And we kept going. And last night, being in the ballpark, being in the top deck, section 523, being up there, and nothing, the game not going right. And then when he was walked and the bases were loaded, it's like, okay, there's an opportunity. And then the hit finally happened. The hit by pitch finally happened. It's just, again, it made me, you know what, Double A? You know what? With sports, with entertainment, with life, it's okay to occasionally smell the roses. It doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all of how you feel about said team, because everybody's still valid, but it happened. We were there. We experienced it. And that's one of my top sports moments ever.
Yeah.
In person in a ballpark, to be there. Well, the whole experience. I took the Rapid down to see this game. It was Dollar Dog Night too. Like, it was like,
you picked a good day.
I saved money on food. I saw good fireworks. In fact, the fireworks drowned out the Tom Hamilton video package that they aired on the scoreboard afterwards. I heard like 2 calls from Hammy, and then the fireworks was just so loud. And like hardly nobody left. I remember how great Game 7 of the Cavs championship felt. I remember some of the other moments. That was near the top, what happened on Saturday night. It really was. And that's what I learned. It was just like, you know what? Sometimes with sports, with entertainment, with everything, no matter how you feel, sometimes it's nice to smell the roses.
2016 AA would be so proud of you.
2016 AA wouldn't recognize 2025 AA.
Yeah.
When I had the short hair and no gray hair, boy, those were good days.
You still look great, my friend. Hey, Rozycki.
Yo.
What you learned this week?
Well, it's just kind of expounding on the whole Guardians run here. And we're going to be talking a lot over the next off season and probably throughout the entire next regular season, World Series throughout, about money in baseball and how much money's being spent, how much money's not being spent, who's doing what they need to do. And I think we're learning right now, and the Guardians are teaching us right now anyway, that it's not, yes, money helps. Money gets you around it, keeps you competitive. It lets you make mistakes. You can buy your way out of problems. You know, ask Brian Cashman with the Yankees. You can sign Jacoby Ellsbury to a bad contract, move on with it. We signed Nick Swisher to a bad contract. We can't move on from it. It's okay. I understand. Money does help. But I think the Guardians with this run, and again, this is absolutely historic, and I am willing to look at anybody here. I know we're running out of time now, but if we want to use this as a separate show, I am willing to put this comeback right up with down 3-1 in the playoffs, in the NBA Finals. I understand it wasn't for a championship. I understand it was regular season only. But what the Cavaliers did took a week. What the Cleveland Guardians did, really, when you want to get down to it, yeah, you can say the month of September, but you can also say going all the way back to July. This comeback was 3 months in the making. And watching the highs and lows, watching these guys stumble and then get back up and dust themselves off and be better for it. You see what money can buy, but you also see the stuff you need that money can't buy. And you see how teams become better than the sum of their parts. This team, with the 25th ranked payroll in Major League Baseball. By the way, let me just put this in perspective for you. This is the playoff teams by payroll rank. The Dodgers are number 1. The Yankees are number 3. Sorry, Mets. The Phillies are number 4. The Blue Jays are 5. Pods 6. Red Sox 8. Cubs 11. Mariners 15. Tigers with the 18th ranked payroll. Brewers 21. Reds 22. And then it's us. And yeah, we can complain, and we spent the first segment saying about how, you know, some of the things about the ownership not spending any money. But what we have seen happen the last 3 months proves that the things that you truly need to win a division, possibly in the playoffs, possibly a World Series, are things that you cannot buy. They are, it's grit, it's resiliency, it's toughness, it's camaraderie. These guys love each other. We are seeing what happens when you have a group of people that legitimately like spending time with each other and figure out a way to win baseball games. And you know what? I understand we're going to be jealous. We'll probably do shows in the next couple of months about how we're jealous about how this team spent this much money on that guy and on that guy and on that guy. But if it means jeopardizing what this team has and what this clubhouse has, and the Svengali approach that Stephen Vogt has with this roster, if it means replacing that with a $30 million player, $40 million player, keep your dudes. I'll take my guys. I know anybody listening outside of Cleveland has no idea who anybody other than Jose Ramirez is. I would have to explain to you what a Daniel Schneemann is, or Angel Martinez, or an Austin Hedges, or any one of these guys. But you know what? I was watching the game today, and it didn't matter who came up. If it was Brian Rocchio, the shortstop, if it was Gabriel Arias, if it was any of these rookies that are coming up, the way this team is operating doesn't matter. I have confidence in it. Get it done. And that's the team I like. That's the team I want to root for. And Eli, that is a team I will gladly spend my spring, all of my summer, and hopefully a majority of my fall spending my money and my time watching and enjoying. That's what I learned.
Rozycki, I only got one more statement to end this thing. First off, I love both of you. It's always a pleasure. But my last statement is, if you ever compare a regular season run to a 2016 championship, I will drive my way over. Figure out a way to drive my way over to where you are at and have a nice conversation. Please don't do that.
Well, I think, Moon, what you're trying to say right now, your opinion about my take and about my opinion on this, I think can be better said by maybe the starting quarterback of your Tennessee Titans.
I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we ass. So we 0-4. We have this point. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our fucking games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in. Especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet, and that's just something that we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better, and we're doing that, but it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
Sounds like you're